Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode for the Coaching Conversations podcast. Now, we are on Stitcher, we are on iTunes, and multiple different channels. Please check us out. Now, one of the things that you'll get out of our podcast episodes is a lot of content, a lot of strategy. It's not fluff, it's not concept, yet we really want you to engage with the content and let us know your feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If there's topics you'd love to have us address, we would love to share them with you. Let us know your impact and let us know your feedback. You know, one of the forgotten debates with coaching has been that ability to have coaching conversations that are either scheduled or on the spot. Now, I am a big proponent of scheduled-based coaching. Let me tell you why. We are very triggered when we do on-the-spot coaching by the things that we see that are wrong. And often we will call it coaching. Well, I gave him coaching in the moment. When in fact, what we gave is feedback. Feedback alone is not coaching. The goal of coaching is to invest in someone, to give them insight, to ask them questions. See, when we do things on the spot, we tend to forget to ask questions. So I'm just giving you my personal view. Now, there are advantages. It can be done quickly. It reinforces learning. It increases engagement. Let me start off with on-the-spot coaching story just to give you reference to utilizing it successfully. I remember one of my favorite people I've ever worked with was a gentleman by the name of Sean McCormick. This is over 20 years ago. And the coaching at the company that he was working at, it was going okay. It wasn't going great because it was new. And it's something that, they were really invested in and still are to this day. And what we did when we focused on the good things, and, our program is a very strength-based program, acknowledging what people do well. Now, when we look at the numbers, 85% of people significantly lack self-awareness. Gallup reports that only 29% are positively engaged. And then you take their other study or their other piece of research where they talk about people engage 8 times more when we lead with the good stuff. Let's be candid. When we see on-the-spot opportunities, we tend to gravitate to the things we need to correct and fix. Because in our minds as leaders, we think, okay, if I address this, oh good, it's one less thing I have to address. One less thing I have to deal with. So we have to be very careful. Now, this story was, this gentleman was a head of a sales team. And it was one of the most interesting perspectives because we did kind of a silent trial. And for 45 days, he ended up just going out to the cubicles where his inside sales team were, and he just listened and looked for only the good things. Only the good things. Now they would track, but very high level, the 2 things they would track would be results and activity. Their activity within 45 days was up 11%, and the results were up 9%. He did no other form of coaching. Then he would call people into the office for quick coaching and just praise them. Now, the reason I share that story is remember, constructive feedback on a continuous basis, even accurate. We have to be honest with ourselves as leaders. Is it being received well? I've often defined coaching as the goal of coaching is never the goal of feedback is never to give feedback. The goal of feedback is to give it so someone strategically utilizes it. Focusing on good things open up the doors where they have opportunities to improve. Number 2, scheduled coaching. When you have scheduled coaching, you have continuous application. If someone is coaching me on my attitude, that's going to take practice. Now, if someone gives me on-the-spot coaching saying you're not getting along with Philip or you're being a jerk to the rest of your team, in that moment, situationally, I will probably tell myself why that feedback or that coaching is inaccurate. Well, I'm just being misunderstood. Well, that person was being a jerk to me. And then we kind of wipe it away from our mind. Whereas when we schedule time with our people, we literally have a structured approach. We have application. We have focus. So think about if you're a golfer, and I often use this. Think about golfing. Think about when you have golfing and somebody only points out what you're doing wrong with your swing. Would you know what to correct? Well, the answer is no. Number two, if you also had a golf coach who covered every single component of every part of your golf swing at every single golf lesson, it's too much to attain. It's too much to assimilate. That's why when you have scheduled sessions focusing on one area, people change in three directions: effort, progress, and results. The first 4 sessions focus on their effort. Don't worry about the lack of results. Stay away from constructive feedback. Focus on the good things that they're doing. Focus on the effort they're making. Help people feel good about getting better. Now, here's the best part. When they start progressing and you pinpoint it, they know what to repeat. When they do that, remember, there's a great study at Harvard called the Progress Principle. 76% of the people were at their most motivated state when they were improving, when they were progressing. A lot of times they don't even know what's happening until somebody like us, the leaders, point that out. Then progress elevates motivation, and you start to go in the direction of this thing called predictable, sustainable results. What are your thoughts? Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagen and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21-day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.